Hey, yes, another week. We made it. 1 week closer to the big election. I can't wait. I'm so excited. My two favorite people are running. God, they're so hot. They're so young. They're so smart. And we're gonna be in good hands. Good, shaky, old, thick, hairy, white, brown skin marked hands, the sun damaged hands of some leader. Isn't it crazy that it's 2020 and we still have like leaders? I mean, it makes sense. How else are you gonna keep the man down? You have to have some sort of, I don't know, whatever. I just checked to see if I was registered to vote. I forgot that I voted. It feels like forever ago. I was like, I'm going to be, because Tyler the Creator posted about it. Everyone's been freaking out. Tyler the Creator, he's registered to vote. All the celebrities are registered to vote, or at least they're going to say they are, and then they're going to tell you to vote. And anyway, Tyler the Creator said that he hasn't. This is going to be the first time he votes. Do we believe him? I don't know. But I was like, if Tyler's voting, I got to make sure I'm registered. I am. And I'm going to do it by mail this year. Although I do love going to a polling place. It makes you feel so American. You're doing something. And then you see everyone else in line and you're trying to figure out who's voting for what. And you can usually tell. But I'm voting in like Hollywood poll places. So everyone's wearing like a respect women, RIP RBG shirt. And it's like, okay. Hollywood's pretty much all on the same page, you know? But it is fun. It feels good. But I have to mail it in because I'm going on a sister trip November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So I'm not going to be around to vote. So I have to mail it in. But everyone's posting all this crazy stuff being like, there's 2 envelopes. You have to put it in this envelope. But then there's another one. It's too confusing. I hope I just know what to do. I'm trying not to look too much into it because people are trying to like sway you off track. I don't know what's real and what's fake anymore with people's posts on Instagram. So maybe I'll send them a little note too. Follow me on Instagram. We'll see. But, yeah, that's coming up. What else? I don't know. I feel like this week's been pretty chill, pretty low key. I've been feeling bummed out lately. I didn't want to I don't know. I've just been like, you know what it is? I have nothing to do. Like at the beginning of the month, it was my birthday. Thank you for wishing me a happy birthday. No one. Anthony got me that cool shirt. But this wasn't like a big deal. Last year I had like people sending me gifts to the Comedy Store. It was crazy. I had so many gifts. I didn't care this year. I was over it. 25? That's gross. I mean, I get that it's not because there's probably like a lot of old people listening to this and they're like, 25? What'd I do to go back to that? Or like whatever old people say about being young. But like 25 does feel like a big deal, but I just was like, I don't want to do anything. And also everyone's on different pages about COVID, so I didn't want to be like, I'm having a party and then get shamed on my birthday for trying to celebrate. So I was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna chill. But at the beginning of this month I was like busy because I had my birthday. I wasn't that busy with my birthday, but it felt kind of busy. And then I was going to move into a new place, but it didn't have a sink, so I ended up staying at my place. So I've just been like trying to make my place feel cute and feel like a new place, even though it's the place that I've lived for the past 5 years pretty much. But now, like this past week, I've had nothing to do. And that's the worst feeling. I hate feeling like I'm bored because I remember when I was in middle school, or maybe even like early in high school, that would always be my thing. I'd always be like, I'm so bored. And I would never just like figure out something to do and do it. And that is when I was always depressed, is when I was like, I have nothing to do. So I had nothing to do this week because there's still not many shows. I've like tried to go through my my recorded sets on my phone from the shows that I have done recently and like type them out and work on the jokes and stuff like that. But my favorite thing about stand-up is the validation and the attention and the reaction. And so when I'm just like working on like fixing up the jokes, it's just me in my room staring at my screen. So then it's just like, then what else am I doing? Not much. So it put me in this weird rut. But I think, well, you know what I did? This is not like me. The other night, I was feeling crazy. I was, like, so stressed out. Like, you know when you don't even realize you're stressed, but your whole body's tense? Like, I had this crazy headache, and I was like, oh, it's probably because I haven't stopped flexing for, like, the whole day. I was just, like, I don't know. I was just feeling some type of way. So I'm, like, all stressed out at home. And I had such a bad headache. I popped 2 Advil migraine soft gels. I was ready to get the night ended, you know? So I popped those. My headache wasn't going away. And I was like, I need to go on like a run or a walk, like something to just like get fresh air, clear my head, feel like I'm doing something and not just at home. So I got my little running shoes on that I never wear. I got my little leggings on that I never wear. I don't have like workout clothes, so I just put like this type of shirt on, you know, just a baggy shirt. And I was like, okay, I'm going to mob the streets of Hollywood and just like see what crazy stuff is happening at night in East Hollywood. Not much, but before I left, my headache was so bad, I literally had to throw up. Like, that's how bad my headache was. So I went to the bathroom, I lit a candle. Because if you're going to throw up and not in like a blacked out type of throw up way, if you're just like sober and like needing to throw up, you got to set the mood, you know? Make it special. How often are you throwing up these days? So I lit a candle, I played some soft ambient music, turned the lights off, sat over the toilet, put a finger down my mouth, and just went to town. And only a little bit came out, but for some reason, after I threw up that tiny little bit, I felt like a whole new woman. I felt great. It was so weird. It was the smallest amount. It was probably because I ate Taco Bell for breakfast. And that was it. But also I think stress. I don't know. It's weird. I feel like it just comes and goes in waves. So if you're going through that right now, I also think change in season will get you feeling a little goofy. Election time's coming up. It's a weird time. Things are unknown. You know, so be nice to yourself. Say, you know what? Maybe I'm feeling a little poopy now, but I'm going to let myself just be a little poop ball in bed. Maybe go for a walk. You know what I did? Because sometimes I'll like overthink things. I'll be like, okay, if I'm going to go for a walk, I need to go this route and walk for exactly 1 mile and like do whatever. And then I was like, shut the hell up, woman. Just go outside. I left my phone at my house. Imagine me, no Instagram, no music, no nothing, no TikTok. I was just out in the wild, roaming the streets of Hollywood. I ended up walking for like an hour. It was nice. And I could have gone longer, but I'm glad I didn't because I was over it by the time I got home. But I felt a lot better, and I went to bed, had a good sleep, and I haven't felt as shitty. Today's still kind of, I don't know, I'm just like in this rut right now. But what I'm going to do, well, here's also what I've been doing. I've been making to-do lists. Even like with the smallest things and the biggest things. Because then you feel accomplished. You know, it can be like, put your underwear in the hamper. And then you do it and you're like, I'm a rock star. I killed it today. So just baby steps, you know. So I did that. And I think next week, I don't know what next week looks like. I'll have to check my little to-do calendar. But next week, I think I'm just going to like pick something random to do. I hate the word random. It reminds me of like, it's so random. But I think I'm just going to like think of something I want to do and then just do it. So we'll see. He said he was, you know, a good call.
At night for a walk, being a girl.
Anthony just asked me if I think it's dangerous going out at night without my phone. 100% it's dangerous. However, I love cheap thrills. Yeah, no, I was aware of that, but my intention going out was that I was going to run, and it's hard to run with your phone. Like, there's nowhere to put it. So I was like, well, if I'm going to go for a run, no one's going to fuck with me because I'm going to be running. But I ran like around the corner of my block and I was like, I don't need to run. let's just start with walking. But then, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it definitely is dangerous. But at the same time, I think there's something very, like, liberating about not having your phone and just, like, cruising and going with the night. I also just think, like, I don't know. I feel like it'd be hard to mess with me. I mean, unless someone, like, really wanted me and was, like, strong, like, sure, it'd be easy. But I think, like, if someone was just, like, messing with me or, like, trying to scare me, because when I was walking back, you know what that reminds me? There was this dude, so many face tattoos, and he was like, hey, what's up? And I was like, I always talk to people, because I'm like, I might as well just, like, see what they're about, what their deal is. So I was like, yeah, what? I was like, oh, just walking. What's up with you? And he was like, I made a promise to myself that I would not let a pretty girl walk by without asking or like without saying something to her. And I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, so like, do you have Instagram or something? And I was like, no, I don't. And I was like, but I appreciate you saying something to me. Have a good night. And then I asked this dude, like 5 seconds later, I had a water with me that I hadn't opened. And I asked this dude, I'm like, hey man, like, what's up? Do you need a water or anything? And he was like, no. And I was like, oh my God, did I just ask a non-homeless person if they wanted a water? Because I thought that they might be homeless. But I think it was just a nice thing to do. He didn't have anything, so what's the harm in offering a water? But yeah, it probably is dangerous. I walked by, I don't want to say where because it's too close to home, literally. But yeah, I just went on a nice walk. I think I'm going to start doing that more. It feels good. I like night walks because it's cool out. It is a little bit dangerous. But
Especially where you live.
yeah, I kind of like, here's my goal. Like, I want to go on this crazy night walk where I don't take like main streets and just like find or rant. Like, so I was walking and this family was like having a little barbecue in the front of their house, and I so badly just wanted to like invite myself to their barbecue, not in like an intrusive way of like give me your food, but just more in like I want to like socialize with you guys. Like I want to hang out, like meet new people, cuz they seem like a cool fam. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going to just start doing this week so I don't feel so restless. I've been skating a little bit. It's just hard skating when you're not that good because you're like, well, oh, I'm just supposed to try and learn how to kickflip now? Like, it just seems so out of the realm of possibility that I'm like...
It's exactly what you said you were going to do. You're going to learn to ollie and then just kind of give it up a little bit.
Yeah. Anthony said that's what I said about ollieing, that I would, like, do it and then lose interest. But I'm still going. I feel like I am definitely losing interest, though. Like, I'm not... Like, I still love it, and I still have fun doing it, but I am just, like, a little bit... Like, it's, like, one of those things where I just wish I could do all of the tricks, and it would be so fun, but I think what I'm forgetting is that the fun part is, like, having to struggle to learn those tricks, so then when you do them, it makes them fun. Because if I could just do them, it wouldn't be exciting. I'd be like, woo, doing all these crazy tricks, you know? What else did I do this week? Do you have any questions for me, Anthony? Well, so here's the thing. Okay. So when I go for a walk or when I go for a run, I wear shoes, Nikes, running shoes. And then I wear leggings, which are skin tight. Sometimes if I do take my phone, I'll put it in the legging. But then it's like it's either sliding down your cooch or it's sliding out the cooch. And then if you're really working hard, it gets all sweaty on the phone. I don't want pants with pockets. Because then you have weight in your pocket. And when you're walking or running, you want to be weightless. In my opinion. I even took all the keys off. So I just had my front key and my gate key. Yeah. And then I have my debit card in case I want to buy some snacks. I bought some beef jerky. I didn't know what to get. So I got beef jerky. And one of those Bai waters. B-A-I. Bai. They're so good. Yeah. I did Blackwater like 2 years ago. That was like 2 years ago, Allie. No, it's just like it's like not that. It's, like water. Yeah, it's just water. but it's like the color black. It looks like it'd be interesting and like cool, but then you drink it and you're like, I'd rather just have Arrowhead at this point. But yeah, so that's why I don't take my phone. I think it's just also liberating. Because who knows what adventures you'll get into. Like, I want someone to pick me up off the side of the street. Not like to molest or anything. But to...
Like, yo, get in.
Yeah, like the other day I was driving to my house and there were these I passed by these dudes filming some skate clip at this high school. And so I just pulled my car over and I started watching them try and film this like skate thing.
Were they like, what do you want?
No, they were like, what's up? And I was like, what's his name? And they were like, his name's, I forget what his name was. I want to say like Micah. They're like, oh, it's Micah. And I was like, come on, Micah, you got this. Then I was watching and then he never got this. He will never get this. He will never get this. Some people, do you ever have people send in questions? No.
For the podcast?
For your podcast.
They have no say.
Yeah.
They have no say over it.
I like to make people feel involved, but I
Yeah.
feel like the people sending in the questions aren't listening to the pod.
No, I feel like if you throw it out to the world, they're generally just going to use it as like a troll opportunity.
100%. Because I'll be like, any questions or topics, hoping that someone who genuinely like listens to this every week is going to send something that they want to hear about. And then it'll be like, literally one of the questions was like, what are your thoughts on cum? And I'm like, not many thoughts.
Yeah,
haven't sat down and wrote.
Yeah, let me scroll.
You can take a little browse.
I mean, you said that we might not even get to these.
Yeah, I normally don't get to them, but I mean, since we're here, if there's any that you find intriguing.
Yeah, this one just says SIGs. Fave Jewel Pod flavor.
I go Virginia tobacco 5%.
Really?
3% is awful.
I'm generally 3% is for when you're like weaning yourself off.
Yeah.
But I'm a menthol guy or a mint if I can find it.
Yeah. I prefer menthol over mint. This is a question that I do want to know. Who has better eyebrows, me or your co-host of your podcast, Jack Wagner?
Oh,
you think so?
Well, it's like this. You have the same eyebrows.
We have very thick eyebrows.
Yeah. Like
but I do mine. You know?
But yeah. Like that's just God.
Yeah.
Were you an OC fan at all?
We talked about this on your pod.
Oh, because I forget. I black out when I podcast.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is not good.
No.
It's not good for this thing that's like documented. There's like 200 something hours of me talking that just exists.
Because how
in
many?
The ether and what's that?
How long have you been doing your podcast now?
Since like November 2017.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every episode of the podcast, I'm always like, I think I might have said this before, or like, did I say that? And then I'll just say it again.
Yeah, I've definitely repeated myself because it's like you only have so many stories.
So many stories.
You only have so many takes. I would love to be freed from the prison of like having opinions.
Yes.
I love like the idea of just being able to like fucking disappear.
Yeah, you've been talking about that a lot lately.
Yeah. Oh, I've been down bad.
I know. I've been feeling.
I'm not well.
I've been very Brandon pilled the past 2 days.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. Well, I think like
that's
boy
what
stuff.
You call being sad now. Is you're just like, yeah, I'm kind of Brandon pilled. Because I was normal pilled for a minute.
You were in Utah. You were very normal pilled in Utah.
Well, yeah, I took a vacation for the first time during the pandemic. And I feel like I never really went on vacation just because I think I've lived a very, like, hedonistic lifestyle.
Yeah.
And, like, I would tour a lot and I would just, like, have a day off and be like, oh, that's vacation. But I never just, like, took a trip where I wasn't, like if you're doing a show on the road, you're not on vacation. You're like commodifying yourself. You're like,
and you're in like the weirdest part of like St. Louis, where it's like, okay, like this is cool that I'm here, but there's only so much I can do to feel like I'm living it up in St. Louis.
Exactly. I mean, there's only so many cities where you can like I don't know. I don't know. America's a very beautiful country.
Yeah. I mean, I like going to all the, like, random little cities. Because
Yeah.
it's places that I wouldn't have thought of going before.
Right.
But now that I'm doing
A
comedy and
secondary market.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like it. But I also think with comedy, like, going on vacation, it's just, like, not something you do. Because in the beginning, it's like, first of all, you don't have money to just be, like, going
Right.
on vacation. And also you're,
Yeah.
like, trying very hard to, like, make a name for yourself wherever you're
Yeah.
at. So you're like, I cannot miss one night or else
Right.
everyone's gonna forget about me.
Yeah.
At least that's
like
what I
when you're
thought in the beginning.
LA.
Yeah.
Oh, because you think like.
When I first started, I was like
Yeah.
aggressively hitting open
Yeah,
mics.
yeah. You gotta be like, oh, I'm grinding.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I hate to be like,
That's like a weird thing about comedy, is the people that are always posting about how they're doing comedy, where
yeah.
they're just like, yeah, I did 5 sets tonight.
Yes.
It's like, all right.
Yeah, they're like, I went from here to here. This one was a lottery. This one was first come, first serve.
Yeah. And you gain nothing.
No.
Because you're like I mean, that's like I will say, I mean, I do think it's important to work hard, and I like I like doing multiple sets in a night.
Yes.
When I can. I mean, it's very hard now,
Yeah.
obviously, but yeah, I don't know. That was always a weird thing to me, because it's like, who are you? I don't know. It's a lot of times like the people that are bragging about how many sets they're doing
Aren't funny.
Really, aren't
Yeah.
funny.
But I think there's
Yeah.
also that balance in the beginning of like posting that you're doing a show so people know that you're like capable of doing a show.
Right.
At least in the beginning, when you're like
Yeah.
first starting to do shows, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm doing this show, which is a decent show.
Oh,
So
right.
obviously if I'm doing this,
Yeah.
I'm capable of doing your like shittier show.
Oh, yeah, like the first time you do like Hot Tub or whatever.
Something, yeah.
Meltdown
I never
or-
did Hot Tub, never did Meltdown.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I never
damn.
did Stories.
Oh,
There's
what?
so many.
Oh,
Doing your
Good
show.
Heroin?
Yes, never did Good Heroin. Doing your show was a big deal to me. And I
Oh,
told
because
you that.
It was like a.
Because it's just one of those shows that's like good and
Oh,
it
thank
has
you.
like a loyal audience. Because
Thanks.
Brandon was running this show at the Satellite, RIP.
Yeah, it's a real shame.
But you were running it for so long and you always had like really great comics and
Yeah, it
great
was always, like,
lineups.
a really fun. It was a fun show, and I think it like really. I don't know. Like, yeah, I loved doing it, and it like helped me a lot in terms of just like having a monthly show where a lot of the people are the same people from last month, and so you like have to write new shit.
Yes.
Like, it helped me on the road. But yeah, like I'm glad that we can do this, because there's no Jack Wagner buffer.
Yeah.
Because when you're on my podcast, and when any comic friend is on my podcast, he always gets like so annoyed about any sort of like comedy talk.
Oh,
Where
interesting.
just any of that shit of like, oh yeah, so there's alt shows and then there's club shows, you know.
Yeah.
But
I've also known
that
you
is like a weird, yeah.
long. Like I think I
Yes.
only met Jack once IRL.
Right. No, we've known each other for
I met you
like
at your
5 or 6 years.
I met you at your birthday at Los Globos.
Oh wow.
I don't know if that's when I met you, but I think that's when. You know when you meet someone, but in passing, and it's like
Sure.
whatever. But I
'Cause
feel
we
like
were
that was the
probably at the
first
same
time.
Echoes Under Sunset open mics
Yeah.
at one point.
Yeah,
Addison Fitzgerald,
Holder
Holder
the
the first, who was. You should have him on.
I'd be down.
I should also have him on, because he did the. You guys were on the same satellite lineup,
Yeah.
right?
That was such a fun show.
Which was so fun, because it was like Zach Fox and like Jack Knight. You, I don't know who. I think Emily Faye was
Emily
on
Faye.
it. I don't want to miss anyone.
I know there was one more person, and I can't think of who it was.
It's escaping me
Yeah,
right now.
but it was a
but-
great show.
Yeah. And Addison Fitzgerald Holder the first was on it. Mr. Pregnant.
Yeah,
Maybe you can cut in a Mr. Pregnant clip right now. Maybe you show like a viral Mr. Pregnant video. But he's like a really fascinating guy.
also he's
And-
one of those people who like it was cool to have him on your show
Yes.
because he was like kind of MIA for a minute.
Yeah.
Like he was such a crucial part of my intro to stand up because he was always at the open mics I was at.
It felt really triumphant for me and Jack, and I'm sure you as well. Like, because I was talking to Jack about it because I remember when I first moved here, I was like doing some open mics locally, and did like Echoes Under Sunset, and Mr. Pregnant was always going up, and I would always like run in because I was always like, I gotta fucking see what he does, and I had never seen him on a real show. I don't think people were booking him on real shows ever.
No.
Because it was like, he was always, I think, like dismissed as like, oh, he's a crazy guy at an open mic. But he did my show and he like killed.
People love him.
Yeah, like he like murdered. It was like, it was packed and people loved him.
Yeah.
Which felt so cool.
And then I remember there were people at open mics who, I'm just thinking of one person in particular, but I'm sure that there's more. But people who would like kill at open mics, like people who were like open mic legends, and they would always get booked on shows and be so bad. Like it just didn't translate.
It's not real.
Yeah.
It's not real.
No, not at all.
And that's like, yeah, it's a really you end up getting this like very myopic perspective because you're only performing for other comedians who are also jaded, and you're only playing to like other comedians. So like, oh, I guess you're really good at shitting on the last comic.
Yeah.
You're really good at like shitting on the last comic or being like, oh man, this room is bad or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that's like what. I mean, you started here.
Yeah.
And you're like, something really impressive is that you've built like a career. And I hate the word career.
Yeah.
I hate using the word career. I hate when people like fucking talk about their career.
Why?
Whatever. I don't know, because it's like I think ego is a problem.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I think I'm like disillusioned with LA, and I also like just fucking. And I know I'm saying this on a podcast. Oh, is this the last one?
That's fine.
We could.
Yes, please.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Like it's also like, I feel like when I was younger, I used to just be too self-involved, and I want to like not.
Yeah.
Do that?
Wait, but what were you going to say that was nice about me?
Oh, well, you like started in LA and have managed to like fucking like, you know, build an hour and like you have like this, you know, you have like fans and stuff, and that's like, you got good as a comic starting in LA, which is something that very few people, I feel like most people that are successful comics like generally were like shitty in private somewhere else for a while.
Yes.
Like the idea of starting in LA is so intimidating to me.
But I think to go back to the open mic thing, also doing good at open mics isn't great because you go to enough open mics where you know every single person in the audience at the open mic and they know you, so they already have the perspective that you know, they already know who you are.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're performing at a real show, the audience isn't going to know you, and so you can't just expect them all to be on the same page from the start. But also about starting in LA, I just didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Like I remember being at an open mic and someone was like, "Yeah, I started in Portland," and I was like, "You can do that?"
Oh,
like I didn't know that there were
in Hollywood.
Yes. Yeah. I had no idea.
Hi. Yeah, I mean, like I did it for 4 years and then moved out. Like I was in DC.
And you started young.
I started 17. You started at,
I think like 18 or 19.
Yeah, 17 in DC, and
then I don't know this story.
Yeah.
So when you started, how long were you doing it until you started opening for Bob Odenkirk? Like, how did that come about? I don't know this story.
I was doing it for 4 years, and that was I moved to LA like the beginning of 2014. January 2014, and I drove here with Stav, actually.
No way.
Yeah. I drove here with Stav. And
Was he gonna move out here?
What's that? No, he just wanted to take a trip.
Yeah.
He just had a bunch of free time, and so we drove cross country together, and then he flew one way back. I remember at one point he like posted a photo of us like outside the Grand Canyon, and like on Facebook posted a photo of us at the Grand Canyon. It was like we're at the Grand Canyon and we're not leaving until this is full of jizz. And both of our moms liked it. But moved.
I love that that's always been Stav's like brand.
Oh yeah. That he like food and pussy.
Yeah.
So then moved to LA, and then I was like here for a couple months, and I had just hit up like a couple comics that I knew just from opening in DC or whatever, and this guy that like Andy Kindler had connected me with worked at A Special Thing Records, and was like a week before Bob was recording that stand-up album. He was like, oh, do you want to open for Bob Odenkirk's album recording at Meltdown? And I was like, yeah, please. And then I did it, and then afterwards he was like, oh, we actually recorded it. Do you want to, like, Bob was like, we recorded it. Do you want to like be on the album?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
That's
awesome.
so crazy.
Even though it's not, I don't even think it's like a good set.
I mean, you were
like,
what, 4 or 5 years in?
Yeah, I was 4 years in. I was 21.
Yeah.
When we recorded it, and it was like it was recorded under false pretenses. I did not know I was being recorded, and so it's a set that's like, it's not even like me killing or anything, but it was like a pretty, I don't know, it's like a whatever set. It's like a fine set.
But I mean, I feel like you're only saying that because now you know.
Well,
like,
I don't know, just because I feel better at stand-up.
For sure.
Now that I've been doing it 10 years as opposed to 4. But like that later that year when it came out, I went on his like book tour, and that was what was cool about that is he just brought me out in the middle of it.
Yeah.
He would just like, I didn't open, like he would just, because he would do like a series of different things where he would do like a sketch reading, or like he would read from the book and like this, that, and the other. But he would do stuff for like 20 minutes, and then 20 minutes in, he'd be like, all right, I've got this album with this kid. And then he would bring me out, and I would do like 10 minutes of stand up.
That's so cool.
But yeah, that was really awesome.
Do you feel like that's like where things started popping off for you?
Yeah. I mean, before that, there was, he really helped a lot.
Especially having like just moved out here. I think that's kind of like that thing of like, you get kind of that mark of approval, whether it's like the show poster that you post when you first start, or like being on Bob Odenkirk's album.
Some sort of like famous person cosign.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's how, I mean, there's so many people watching this right now that are watching this because they Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh, Joe Rogan, stamp of approval.
Yeah.
And so that's like, I don't know. Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, that first year in LA did feel, it was strange. I mean, that was very fortunate. But I was like very broke for most of that year.
Yeah, 100%.
And that the open mic scene here is like,
who do you remember?
People weren't nice.
No, especially being like a young dude who's like doing well 4 years in. I imagine people are probably like not wanting to like you.
Yeah, I didn't feel like a comic's comic.
Yeah,
but it's like, I mean, I felt ultimately like I'm not gonna fucking complain. I'm not like a victim. Like, I was like, I was like doing cool shows and stuff, and but I'm not gonna like complain that open micers were mean to me.
Yeah.
But what was the question?
Do you remember who your like first friends were out here? Like who you hung out with when you first moved out here?
I guess like Bill Kottkamp was my roommate. Remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was that house I lived in. I like lived in a house where it was $460 a month for rent. I could have sworn you came to a party there at one point.
Because I don't think we actually like hung out until I had known you for like maybe a year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I think I met you. When was your Los Globos birthday? Was that like 23 or 24?
24?
Yeah, I think it was like your 24th birthday.
16. There's like a photo of me. Like that's the one time I actually blacked out.
Yeah, you were you were super drunk, and I think I was like carrying you in the picture.
Yeah, there's like a couple photos where I think there's a photo of you carrying me, of Jack carrying me.
Yeah. How did you and Jack meet?
Knight?
No, or Wagner.
Through mutual friends. We were in Austin. I mean, it's not like a fun story. We were like at South by Southwest.
Oh, cool.
We're just kind of like, oh, I know you from the computer.
Yeah.
You know, like he was like, oh, I know you from the computer, and then we kind of just like hung out all day, and then sort of became friends that way. But yeah, friends early on. I mean, like Andy Haynes, like everybody I knew from DC.
Yeah.
That was like sort of like.
Because when you were in DC, did you go to the East Coast a lot? Like, would you take trips to New York?
I would take occasional trips to New York. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, every once in a while I would go to New York. Remember one time I actually really fucking ate it at a Just for Laughs audition.
Oh my
in
God.
New York.
Yeah.
That was like traumatizing when I was
do you remember which audition
18.
that was? Was it your first Just for Laughs audition?
Yeah, it was my first, because it was like 18. This would have been, this was like right after senior year. I did like a local, they did like a local Just for Laughs showcase in DC. And that went well. That was like at the Improv Lounge in like the small room at the Improv, and I felt really good about it. And then I get an email like, hey, do you want to come audition for Just for Laughs in New York? It was like at the Creek in the Cave, which is like, they should not have
comedy
auditions.
No.
There.
Was it in the basement there?
Not in the, it's in like the main room.
Okay.
Yeah,
they're like upper level.
Yeah.
Actual comedy room.
But I fucking like ate it, and most of the audience is like New York comedians that I didn't know, and I was like this child visiting from DC, like I just graduated high school, whatever. And just fucking ate it. And I think I I think I like cried.
Yeah.
Privately. I was young, but no, I like.
Did you think like this is it? Like I'm over?
I thought I was just done, because it was like nobody knew who I was, and I like didn't, like I was like I think I was like literally like just like a DC open micer who like was going to community college and like living at my parents', and I didn't really feel like I had any sort of prospects. So I was like, oh cool, I just bombed my Just for Laughs audition. I should quit. But
did you ever do New Faces?
No, I've never done it.
Me neither.
Yeah.
My audition.
But you don't need it anymore.
No.
Yeah.
But it's fun to just audition and like see who they have. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I said that like the past 3 years, being like, I don't care. I still cared. I really don't care anymore. I think it would be fun because I've never been to Canada.
Well, you don't need to do. You could probably
just do a different show there.
Just do your like I think if I win, I mean whenever live comedy comes back full scale, but I would want to just like do an hour, because like when I didn't do it, I remember after I didn't get it in like 2016, I had auditioned a bunch of times and then just like didn't get it, and so I was like, oh well, now I'm no longer, my face is no longer new. But I feel like that's what's weird is like like I think like last year or the year before, like some of the people they had for New Faces, I'm like, why are they
getting this now. Like they're already doing. Like I think Sam J got it, and I was like, she should have been at like
she's like
much earlier.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because she's like, yeah, everybody knows that she's good,
and she was like already about to do SNL. But my audition, I think last year was so bad. I got off stage. I just bombed. It was at West Side Comedy Theater.
Oh, that's also
it's the worst.
West Side is like a weird spot to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because West Side is a very like weird hit or miss place. I also feel like Santa Monica just feels
the crowd in Santa Monica is
Santa
really
Monica
weird.
Crowds feel so. It
was
sterile.
it was like an accidental purchase. Like no one ever goes to West Side Comedy Theater because they wanted to go. It's like they just got done at Nordstrom and they're like, well, we have time to kill. We have 2 more hours on the meter.
Yeah, you've been like lingering at the promenade.
Yeah. But I got off stage and Jeff Singer was like, you looked good. And I was like,
that's a weird comment also.
Yeah.
It's like a weird. He said you looked good.
He said you looked good up there. Should we cancel it?
Yeah. This man told me I looked good.
Yeah. This man
but that
complimented
is like a weird thing
appearance.
to say.
Yeah, I mean, he was accurate. Like, I did look good, and my jokes were awful. So, like, it's the only thing he could have said that was nice.
Right. But yeah, it worked out.
Yeah.
You know.
Wait, I have a question for not the pod, because I've been thinking. I forgot.
To cut out.
We're cutting.
So
this
we're
part
cutting
out.
this part out.
Okay, so the first year that I showcased for Just for Laughs, I think I was like 2 years into comedy, or maybe even like 1 year into comedy. Yeah. And I get this audition. I'm like, this is the biggest moment of my life.
Did you have like?
I had a manager.
You had a manager.
Yeah.
Like a year in, who saw you?
A year
where?
in, he saw me randomly at the Improv at his client's show.
Yeah.
And he like came up to me after.
Who's his client? Oh boy, no, I'm familiar. I've seen his Franzia ads.
Yeah, yeah. So I did my set.
Franzia SpawnCon posts.
I haven't seen it. I think I might have unfollowed him.
Yeah, I think I might have him blocked.
Yeah,
just because he was like showing up in my Explore page, and I look at stuff that I don't like too much, but there's certain stuff that's like, oh, this is just a bridge too far, and I'm actively doing myself like mental damage. By looking at this.
Yeah. But I was at his show performing. I get off stage. I go outside to like vape or something, and this like older man comes out and is like, "I'm a manager. If you're interested, like here's my card." And he was like super casual about it. So I like Googled him when I got home, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's like a legitimate manager." Because like you know how when you're first starting, people be like, "Oh, manage you," and you're like, "You work out of your garage." Like no. So anyway, so I get this manager. He gets me Just for Laughs. I'm like, this is huge. Like my whole career is turning. I go to my audition. I'm so nervous. I do this joke. One of my earliest jokes. I'll still do it in my hour. I'm not ashamed to do this bit. Yeah. I mean, only I try not to.
What's the oldest joke in your hour?
The joke that's on my I don't like talking about it. The joke where I talk about how annoying my voice is and I can't give compliments, and so I'll be like, "Hey, cool hat."
Like what year is this joke from?
2015, 16.
Yeah.
So I do this joke about complimenting someone's hat, and with my voice it sounds really bitchy, so I'll sing the compliment.
Yeah.
And so I'm like looking in the audience to do this joke, and I see this guy wearing a fedora, and I'm like, "Hey, cool hat." And then I sing the joke where I'm like, "That's a cool hat." Yeah, this is my showcase. And I realized that was the main guy. That was Jeff wearing the fedora. And I like singled him out, not even realizing it.
He loves to wear a fedora.
He loves a fedora. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of young people who want to do comedy. And I feel like... I feel like there are a lot of young people doing comedy. When I first started, there was a handful, but I feel like now there's more and more young people starting.
That's something nice about getting a little older, like getting to like 27, 28, is that now you have like more peers that are around your age.
Yeah.
Because when I was 17,
all my friends were like 29.
Yeah. It's like honestly fucked. Like at open mics, like, when I was a kid, like my first ever open mic was at like this place called the Comedy Spot in Ballston Mall in
And
Arlington,
what got
Virginia.
you? People always ask me this question,
Yeah.
and so I'm just curious. What made you do that first open mic? Was there like a lot of time deliberating whether you were going to do it?
Yeah, there was. But I remember October 2009, there was this comedy festival called the Benson Ball in Washington, D.C.
Doug Benson?
No, Bentzen. It was like, I forget who was, it was like Sarah Silverman, Patton Oswalt, and Chelsea Peretti and Reggie Watts and a bunch of people. Like, it was some Tig Notaro thing. But it was like, yeah, a lot of like the like big alt guys of 09. And I had volunteered I just like wanted to volunteer at the festival and just like be around it.
Yeah.
Just be around comedy. And so like I had only been to like a couple shows before that. Like I saw Andy Kindler at the Draft House. Once I made my dad take me to Andy Kindler at the Arlington Draft House. And I saw like, I think like Mark Maron there also. I saw Z's once live. And my first ever time going to a live stand-up show, on my 16th birthday, I asked my parents to take me to see Bob Newhart at the Warner Theater.
Whoa.
Which is like, most 15 going on 16-year-olds are not like, I want to go to the Bob Newhart
I have to
show.
see Bob.
Yeah, I need to see Bob Newhart do his telephone bit.
Yeah.
And stuff. But I was just like, I was a huge comedy nerd. And so yeah, I volunteered at that festival, and I talked to a bunch of local comics there who were all like I was just going around to comics like, how do I start? How do I start doing comedy, you know?
That's what I
which
did.
I know that you've done. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
But I talked to like Aparna Nancherla and Hampton Yount and a couple of people that, you know, have since left DC. But they all gave me like very like actionable advice where they were like, here's a list of open mics. Just go to this open mic and you can just start doing comedy. Some of these places, they might not let you in, but here's the ones that might. And so I just sort of started doing stand-up a couple months after that. And yeah.
How did you write your first set? Was it like monologue style? Because I remember sitting on my computer and typing it out like it was a script that I had to memorize.
I think I did write it in no, I think I just wrote like I didn't write any of the jokes out in full. But I was like, I'm going to write a basic outline and then I'm going to nail it. And I didn't, you know, like, but just kind of started. Yeah, you just start.
Yeah, because I think that's the big thing is when I was asking, because I was on Twitter a lot and I would see all these comedians that I really liked, like Jake Weissman and Yasser Lester and like some other people who ended up being creepy. But Jake and Yasser were super nice and helpful. Yeah. And I think every time I asked
you don't want to name
No, names? I won't name names. But
that's cool. Nothing wrong with, No, I get it.
I just don't think it's worth it.
You don't want to define yourself by like, oh, this guy was creepy to me.
Because I just kind of ignored it and was like, all right.
Right.
But Jake and Yasser were super helpful. But I think when I was reaching out to these comedians, I wanted them to like give me a secret. Like there was something that they would say to like get me to do it. Yeah. But all of them were just like, just do it.
Right.
Like just do the open mic and then you'll figure out the rest by doing it. But
have you talked to any kids online that are like fans that were like, now you're in the position where they're like, oh, can you like give me advice or whatever?
But the hard thing is like, that's why I'm so grateful to those guys, because you never know who you're opening your messages to, because there's been times where I'll try and give advice and then the person will continuously have a dialogue with me where I'm like,
and then the notification is popping up
and then I have to like restrict them, and unsee it, and
Yeah.
it's not that I don't like them. I
know.
just like there's only so much I can do or talk to you about.
Yeah.
That's why I try and give advice on the podcast, because I'm like, at least if you hear this, like there's no
Right.
special advice for anyone. Like no
Yeah.
one is unique to have a different thing
Right.
to go by. All it is do it.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
best advice I got though was not to post anything in your first year.
Oh, not to post any stand-up
Yeah.
in your first year. Yeah, that's really good advice.
Yeah.
Because people want to pull the trigger like immediately.
Yeah, and I think in that first year I was the most confident I've ever been in stand-up.
Yeah.
Is the first year.
Right.
But now looking back at my first year sets, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this was so bad. I can't believe I had so much confidence.
Right, I know. Yeah, I feel the same. I mean I feel that way about like a lot of, I don't know, like kind of the first year I got attention. Like I look back on a lot of it now and I'm like, man, I was just a real dumb, impulsive guy.
Yeah. I feel like when I first met you, we didn't really become friends because you were very popular. Do you know what
Really?
I mean? Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean?
I think you just like hung out with a lot of popular people. And I think I was a new comedian with like,
Oh.
not that I didn't have anything to offer, but I think like you just were in like this lifestyle of being like a hot kid. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not in like a sexual
Yeah,
way.
don't-
I just mean like,
No, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think I had the same values that I do now that I'm older. I
Yeah.
think I mean, that's like it sucks when like your first impression is bad, you know. I just think that when I was like younger, I don't know. I think I was probably just like aloof.
for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that is something that's nice, like with time, is that you like ease into yourself and you
Right.
get more comfortable with your surroundings and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
But I couldn't
exactly.
imagine being like, I don't know, at least from my perspective, like seeing you where you were at when I first started, I was like, that's so cool.
Oh, thanks.
Like I want to make clothes and like I
Oh,
want to have
God.
like cool
That was
parties
so
at
dumb
Los
that
Globos and like
Yeah.
have DJs and like
I mean, that's such a short-sighted path. Because I didn't zoom out a lot at that time. It was all like a lot of ephemeral bullshit where
For
you're just
sure.
like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do a party where I play songs off my phone.
Yeah.
or whatever. Which
but it
is
was
like
so fun and it was
fun.
unique.
It was fun. Yeah, thank you. But if once you're doing it for like more than a year, it's like, oh, you should probably stop doing that. But I feel like a lot of that time was sort of like being like ironically vapid, which like doesn't make it okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you're like oh, I'm being vapid like as a bit
Yeah.
or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
It's like that's like there's nothing like fucking transgressive or interesting
Yeah.
about that. And it's something that like bothers me now sometimes when I'll like see a comic that like I just turned 28 and I'll like see comics that are 23 and starting to like blow up a little bit, but they kind of behave like I did 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's that narcissism of small differences. You're like, don't fucking no, I did that so you wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So you should have seen me doing that thing that I think is bad.
But don't you think it's brought you to where you are now to have that perspective
a little bit, but
and
I
like
think that it's also probably like, yeah, I mean, I guess a little, yeah.
I mean, it's good that you're not like 28 and still being like party at Los Globos.
Yeah,
like
that
I'm
would
gonna
be
DJ. Like
crazy.
that would be psycho.
That would be so nuts.
But
I
it was fun that
mean,
you did it when you did, because
Yeah,
like
'cause
when
I mean, I
else
was
is
at
the
the-
time to do
right,
it?
exactly. Yeah, when you're like 22, 23.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think it was definitely like a moment. Like I mean, 2016 pre-Trump, I feel like it was such a different energy.
Yeah.
It was such a different. I feel like people were a lot more carefree.
What
which
do you
is
think-
nice. I think that there should be. Yeah, whatever.
What do you think is gonna change after this election?
It depends.
I know, but do you think?
But I don't know. I mean, that's like the thing is, yeah, I like because obviously I'm not enthused I was
Yeah.
very, very, very pro Bernie, very active
Yeah.
about my Bernie support. I was canvassing.
I think it would have been so fun to
It would have
have
been amazing. It would have
Bernie.
been so great. But yeah, it really feels so disorienting investing so much energy during the primaries. During the primaries, I do think I got a little lost in the sauce. I got
Yeah.
very I think everybody was feeling kind of like gassed up,
for sure.
and so I was very like, fuck yeah, Bernie motherfucker, like let's
Yeah.
go, like yeah, Biden's a fucking dead guy, Biden's a rapist,
Yeah.
like this,
And now
that,
you're
the
like,
other.
no, Biden's
And then like
great.
8 months later, yeah, I mean, I don't think Biden's great,
For
but
sure.
I God, I guess I'm gonna vote for him because I vote in a swing state.
Yeah.
I still vote as a Virginia citizen.
Nice.
I don't know if that's not voter fraud. Right?
I vote for my dead
that?
grandma and my dead grandpa.
Yeah.
They're both in California, so it doesn't really matter, but I still vote for them.
But
It is funny, though, how lost
Biden
in the sauce.
Harris, I also hated.
Yeah.
I was also.
I mean, I hate all of it.
Yeah.
I want a new world order.
I know.
Overthrow everything.
You're an accelerationist.
I mean, why not? At this point, let's just
It's so.
let's get
I mean,
weird.
It's really. Yeah, I don't know, because I'd like to think that some of this stuff is salvageable, like the climate. But yeah, I mean, it's really scary. I mean, the permafrost is gonna melt, and we're just gonna have new diseases we don't know about. It's gonna be bad, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it feels so helpless. It's like why I try to not look at Twitter too much, or I try to stay a little disengaged lately, because so much of just going on the computer is just you wake up, you fucking open Twitter, and you see a series of very upsetting things that you can do nothing about.
I deleted
Stuff
my
that-
Twitter.
That's great. Oh, you just straight up
I fully deleted
You just
it.
don't have it.
Well, because I had it since high school.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm a completely different person than I was in high school.
All of the tweets were still there?
All of the tweets were still there.
I did a thing where I did a thing.
I did a thing.
I used some app to delete most of my tweets.
That's what I tried to do, but they never worked.
Because it was 20,000 tweets or something. I think I paid for it. I think I paid $10 or something.
I just paid, oh my God, I just paid so much money for an app it's so embarrassing. I just bought an Instagram app where you can see who your most loyal followers are, who clicks on your profile the most. So if anyone has a crush on you and they're checking your profile, you can find that out.
I didn't know we had access to this kind of
I
technology.
don't think it's
and
accurate.
I don't think we should.
And I paid a lot of money for it.
How
and
much? How much did you pay, Allie?
40.
It was $40.
It was $40. Okay, that's less.
For a year, though, not
that's less
a monthly.
egregious than I thought.
No.
I was
And
a little
it's kind
worried
of
that
ironic.
it was gonna be
It's kind of
low.
quirky. It's not
good.
serious.
Don't do. That's crazy.
I know. I'm gonna be so
Yeah.
over it. I used to when I was in high school and
Are you on it too much?
on Instagram
Yeah.
or on the.
On Instagram.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram all the time.
Yeah, I've phased Twitter out mostly in terms of that being something I indulge in too much.
Yeah.
But I want to really curb the Instagram usage as well.
Yeah.
It really sucks that being an addiction, that because it's not even a cool addiction. It's not even an
It's
edgy
not like being
addiction
an
to have.
alcoholic where you're out partying and you're I
Right.
took it too far again.
Yeah.
It's I'm in bed alone,
Right.
crying, wondering why I suck and why I'm ugly and why everyone else is cool.
It's so, and it's that's the shitty thing about a Twitter addiction too, is because it's it's so public, and so people
Yeah.
just know. It's if you were an alcoholic and people just knew every time you drank a beer.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
there was definitely an entire phase of my like a year or two where I was just like tweeting like 20 times a day.
Yeah.
And thankfully I've like cleared my profile of like all of that time, and so now it's just like only the hits.
It is crazy though, because don't worry, I'm not gonna bring it up, but some of your tweets have become like such cultural moments where like people will still bring up things that you've said on Twitter.
Oh, sure.
Is that I don't want to say is that weird because that's a boring question, but like
yeah, I mean I guess it is weird.
Because I imagine,
but like I don't know, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like it's like it helps ultimately.
For sure.
But yeah, it's what's the question?
I don't know. There wasn't really a question. I guess I'm just kind of processing the fact that someone could tweet something and then have other people say it like out loud in public.
Later.
Yeah, years later.
Yeah. I mean, nobody uses the H word. I haven't. That hasn't.
Well,
happened
I don't think anyone would have remembered that event if it weren't for that tweet.
Oh, right.
And like that would have been something where someone could bring it up and be like, "Do you remember that one time?"
Vine with Trejo.
Yeah.
Which was he reposted it. He reposted it in he like reposted it in May. Like it was like the worst timing. Because it was like when it was right after George Floyd, and it was like right after everybody was like, if you're tweeting about anything other than BLM, like, you know, you are complicit. Yeah. And like this, that, and the other. And then I checked my notifications, and it was like Danny Trejo reposted that video.
Oh my God.
I was like, 4-year anniversary. And I'm like, fuck, man. God, no.
For everyone who's not a Brandon head, they're going to be so confused as to what this is about.
They can figure it out. I gave them enough.
There's enough context clues.
Yeah. To find but it's like, it's so, like, I don't know. When I was 23, I was just in such a different headspace.
Do you feel like your writing has changed like significantly, like within the past 5 years?
Stand-up wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I always like.
Well, I phased out so much of. I think a lot differently now, and I have tried to sort of like get rid of everything that's like very like zeitgeisty, and, like ephemeral or whatever. Just like anything where I'm like, I was at a Justin Bieber concert, like, you know, whatever, like, Big Sean, whatever, you know, just fucking like dumb pop culture stuff. Because it's like that, it like ages like milk, you know? Yeah. I mean, so yeah, I think I just like phased out a lot of that stuff. Because it's like, I don't know. We're still at like a fun stage of life.
Definitely.
Where we're still like in control, and we can still like, you know, I don't know. Like, I don't want to do material from when I was 23. Yeah. But yeah, also I just feel like I was like such a different guy. And it really sucks that I think I didn't take stand-up as seriously as I do now or have in the past couple of years. And so it kind of sucks that like my first TV sets were from like a year where I was very like just being hedonistic and like not really giving a shit. But don't you think
part of that was like how it all came about? Like the
Probably
mix of like being a young comedian who's like good at it and also being like a little bit crazy and unpredictable and like
yeah. Well, because it's also like if you're young, people like cut you a little more slack
for sure,
and you can, you know,
I think
be
that's
more chaotic.
Yeah, I feel like now that I'm 25,
but I can't
I'm
behave
like
that.
Yeah, no,
you know, like,
that's why I'm like I feel like this is the last year where I can like try and do crazy stuff, and then I need to like chill out next year.
Sure, but you seem to keep it fairly like normal pilled.
You think I'm normal pilled?
Yeah, I mean, like I think I'm
chill pilled on the outside, but like going through mania on the inside.
For sure.
Often.
But yeah, I mean, I think that you're like a funny comic who works hard and doesn't like make too much noise. You know?
I kind of want to make noise though.
You want to make more noise?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I want to be a little bit reckless.
You want to have
I
like
want people to be like, "What's Allie up to?"
Yeah. Cuz I don't know, that's like not I prefer the other side of it.
But that's because you've already been on the other side.
Because I had like an entire year of just like being psychotic.
Yeah.
And like losing touch with reality. I feel like I like lost touch with reality and like lost my sense of humanity.
Yeah.
And just want to, not do that.
This year's going to be my hedonistic year.
Yeah.
Before we go, I want to see if there's
are
any
we
good
done?
questions. Yeah, we already hit an hour. Just about. Is there anything you wanted to
I'll
add?
do more.
Okay.
I don't care.
You're like, I'll be your new co-host.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like very it's nice the like no jack buffer. I feel like this is a new rhythm.
Yeah.
It's something else. This is
Well, because I like to just hang out on here.
Yeah.
Because
I mean we hang out on there, but yeah, it's just kind of a different vibe because he's I think anytime we start talking about comedy stuff, he just kind of dissociates.
Yeah. What does he do?
Jack?
Yeah.
Well, he was like directing stuff, like music videos for a while and doing like just like weird like consultant work and shit.
Yeah.
But he like created that like and subscribe show.
Yeah.
Which was I really like that.
So good.
Yeah, like he now he's just doing the podcast.
Yeah.
As am I.
That's so tight.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to that point. And I think I'm going to take your suggestion. I think I'm going to start out doing one bonus episode a month.
Yeah.
And then see how that goes. And then maybe eventually do one bonus a week. I just went straight.
I mean, how long have you
Patreon.
been doing this podcast?
We just hit a year.
Oh, then you should literally just start doing Patreon episodes every week.
Only?
What's
every
that?
week?
No, like one free episode a week, one Patreon episode a week. It's like it'll.
Don't look at me.
I mean, I think that's I don't know. That was the model.
Okay.
That it was the the Chapo and later Cumtown model.
Yeah.
And Red Scare and all of them.
Okay, sorry, I'm trying to see if there's any. Oh, don't you have a tier on your Patreon for feet pics?
Yes, but
do you still
it's
have
very
it?
Inactive. It's very like we launched that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And
what's the price for that tier?
$10.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. And so there are most of the people that are on our Patreon are generally $5. They're just in it for the episodes.
Yeah.
But there are there's 60 people on the feet tier. And so 600
There's 60?
$600 of my monthly income is
for feet
pics, but I'll go months without posting on the feet tier. I'm very my feet pic work ethic is low.
Yeah.
But I'm really slacking off with the feet pics. Also cuz it's just like I don't know. Now when I launched that tier, I think me and Annie have talked about it. I think she was doing the feet stuff before me, and it was just sort of like parallel. We've talked. She'll do the pod and we'll talk about it. But I don't know. I'm just I'm not super active on the feet tier, but I did recently post a feed pic on there, and there was somebody that had commented hey, how much for requests? Like how much for a video request? And we're still in negotiations on that.
What does he want? What's his special request?
I think he wants me to wiggle
wiggle
my
your
toes a little bit, and I think he wants a 1 minute video of me sort of wiggling my toes.
For sure.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I need the price to go up.
Yeah.
Because I think he wasn't offering enough. And so I was like, let's double that.
Did I tell you I started a foot Instagram?
Yeah?
Only Feet, Allie Mac.
Wait, why Instagram? Why not straight to OnlyFans?
Because I feel like Instagram is just more accessible.
But how are you monetizing?
So here's the thing. It's a private account for my feet. If you want me to accept your follow request, you have to Venmo me $50. And then once I get the 50, you can have access to all the grid posts.
Okay.
An occasional Instagram story. And if you want to request, like say you want me to wiggle my feet.
How many people are...
Not a lot. It's embarrassing. And I wish I never started it. If a lot of people did, I'd be like, that's so funny. I can't believe this worked. But literally 3 people have followed it and sent me $50.
So $150.
It's sad.
You got $150
I got $150
off of your feet.
Yeah.
That's what's good about the monthly, is because this seems like a short-sighted decision on your part.
I mean, all of my decisions are short-sighted.
One time.
No, $50. You have access to the grid. I'm posting once a week at least.
For $50, they get it forever.
Yeah.
But $10 a month, you keep them up.
Yeah.
On that.
You know, I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
This is all just learning.
Yeah, I'm here for...
I should have asked the foot god before.
Yeah, business advice.
Have you ever boofed anything?
Wait, what's...
I think boofing is when you, like say you boof alcohol, you, like, put it in your butthole.
In your ass? I have not.
No boofs?
Yeah. I guess I've boofed penis. No. Just kidding.
What's your favorite thing about Halloween?
Oh, I don't know. I kind of like I like when people have the fun decorations outside. That's like
you like spooky season.
Very like normie thing of me, but I remember the other day I was walking with my girlfriend and I saw like somebody had this like giant inflatable outside of their house of just like a Halloween dinosaur where it's just like a dinosaur like holding a pumpkin or whatever. And I was like, that's fun. And like literally it's like I was like, that's fun. And like I like stopped and like took a photo just like for myself.
Yeah.
Just to, like look at later like, that's fun Halloween dinosaur, you know? Like I love that shit.
That's so funny.
Do you like that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm super normie.
Fun.
I feel like
fun.
I'm super normie.
I love like driving around and like
I like holidays. I like when people get excited about something. I think that's also like, you can hate on me all you want, but I think that's also why I like Coachella, even though I like don't like the atmosphere as much. I just like when seeing people get excited for something.
Was 2019 your first? Coachella?
No, I went
oh no, you've been a bunch.
I've been a bunch.
Yeah. No, I've gone every year since 2016. Except, you know.
Yeah, I didn't go every year. I went in 2013 and then like maybe 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
And then I think I skipped a couple years.
Yeah.
But I told myself one year I went and it was general admission and I was like, this is the last time I'm going general admission. I was like, I'm never going again. Yeah. And then the following year, just by weird coincidence, this one dude who I met like a month before Coachella was like, I have...
It's so funny how the fucking... those tiers. I mean, I've never gone. I've gone like like VIP and artists, but it's so weird how like I don't know. It's so dumb.
It's just because like if I didn't care enough about it to be in like a huge crowd of people that was like overwhelming and exhausting and ended up being not as much fun. So I'm like, okay, well if there's a way I can go where I don't feel overwhelmed and I can like kind of just chill and enjoy my time and my space, then I'll do it that way. Right. It wasn't so much about being like...
No, the status of it all. Yeah. No, like it is in terms of comfort. Yeah, like it's great to be able to go and just like have like just like go to a bathroom with a door. Yeah. And just have like be able to see things close. But yeah, this year 2019 Coachella, I met one of the me and the diabetic Heim talked about having the same disease.
Wait, what?
The bassist from Haim is diabetic.
What? Oh, you're diabetic?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I saw her like there was like a mutual friend.
Yeah.
I didn't just like run up.
There was a
like,
link.
I didn't just run up to
Oh my god, you're diabetic.
like
I have sugar.
Yeah,
Come here.
Yeah. Yeah, there was like a mutual friend, but yeah, that was like a pretty cool thing.
That is pretty cool.
It's a pretty cool thing. Yeah, no, I literally like Coachella.
I love festivals.
Despite any of the like bullshit.
I went on a rave cruise at the very beginning of this year.
Yeah.
If they were to do a rave cruise when it was safe again, would you ever go? Like, if I had a +1 or +2 for you and your girl,
Wait,
would you go on a rave cruise if it was free? And I was like,
I wouldn't be like doing stand up on the rave cruise.
No, just in general, would you go on a rave cruise? Not as an artist.
Who's on the lineup? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I would just be going on the rave cruise. COVID no longer exists.
We forget it.
We all have the vaccine.
We're all good.
Or
COVID's
herd
not
immunity.
a fear. Yeah.
we all have it.
Yeah.
We all have it.
Everybody it's a collective COVID
everybody on the
cruise.
rave has it.
Yeah.
It's a herd immunity cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, great.
Right? I mean, because was that you?
It was
like,
the best time of my life.
I feel like I've heard you talk about this like more than 5 times.
I bring it up as much as possible.
I feel like I've had multiple conversations with you where you're like, man, if only I was at the rave cruise right now.
This is so weird. This is reminding me of the rave cruise. How do you
just like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would go.
How do we end this? Is there any final notes? Any
I
final words of inspiration?
I have nothing. I have nothing.
How do you
nothing to say.
How do you stay normal pilled when it's easy to spiral right now?
I don't know. I would just say stay off the internet unless you like just like limit your use of things that like make you spiral.
Yeah.
Don't just surrender to oblivion.
Yeah.
Don't just fucking surrender to the algorithm and just like, I think that is no way to live.
Yeah.
I think just like keep it moderate, because otherwise it's very easy to like spiral into despair, especially because like things are very bad. But I think just like get off the grid and take care of your loved ones.
Yeah.
And just fucking like just be around people that you like, and I don't know, read, watch stuff.
What should I read? I don't really read, and I would like to read something.
The last book I fully read the last book I read was not fun. It was Amusing Ourselves to Death by Neil Postman, which is like it's very depressing. It's written in the 80s, but it's very like depressant. But if you like, you'd probably be more of like a novel person.
Yeah, like
I just
Twilight.
read Norwood.
Okay, Norwood.
Jesus Christ. Norwood by Charles Portis.
Okay.
He wrote like True Grit, but it's very funny. It's like basically just a book about a dumb guy on the bus meeting a bunch of freaks.
Oh, I love that.
It did actually like make me laugh. I've been meaning to start Dog of the South, which is another book of his, but I haven't started it. Like I brought it on that Utah trip, and then I just like did not read.
I always bring a book on a trip, never open it. Yeah,
I've tried to be more on it about reading, but yeah, also I think in terms of being normal pilled, like just avoid looking at. That's the thing that makes me, when I'm not normal pilled, it's because I'm looking at too much stuff that I know I'm gonna hate.
Yes, like, I'm addicted to feeling.
Yeah.
To feeling like a weird feeling.
Yeah, it's like looking at like comedians who are really fucking. There's like a lot of comics where you go to their profile just to spark hate in your heart. Yeah. And that's an insane thing to 100%. Do to yourself.
I have to goss with you after this.
Yeah, that's by far, I would say that is by far my worst habit.
Yeah.
Because anything else, any sort of like vice, it's pretty under control.
Yeah.
You know, any sort of like stimulant or whatever, what have you. I it's like very in moderation, but that's like the thing that I really want to just eradicate from my life is just looking at shit that I know I'm gonna hate, and I've done my best to avoid that. I've literally just been trying to like, yeah, just like watch stuff uninterrupted.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched Home Movies, that cartoon?
No.
It was like an early Adult Swim cartoon.
Uh-uh.
Been watching that a lot. Kind of the what else what have you been watching?
What I like to watch is trashy reality shows.
Oh, yeah.
It puts me at ease.
I only give myself one reality show.
What's your one?
Vanderpump Rules.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Which was yeah, that was although it's kind of, I don't know, I feel like it probably jumps the shark.
Yeah, I can't do those because they're so over dramatic and like
Right.
you can tell that they're
yeah,
like
they're,
scripted.
once they start like being performative, it gets weird.
That's why I like Love Island or The
Yeah.
Circle, things where you're
Right.
like just watching people try and be themselves even though
Yeah.
everything's broadcast. I find that interesting.
Right.
Big Brother,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. Not like Celebrity Big Brother.
No,
Just like regular
I hate
Big
Celebrity
Brother.
Big Brother
'Cause
because it's
Celebrity
never
Big
like
Brother,
Tom
it's-
Hanks. It's like
Right. Yeah.
it's like Kristen Chenoweth's like sister
Yeah.
that no one knew about, and it's like I don't care what she's doing.
Right. No, exactly.
Okay, this was a good episode.
I hope so. I hope people liked it. We're gonna do a live show, right? I'm doing.
Yes. Oh, I need to. Okay, I'm doing. Okay.
Do you have the details? Do
Yeah.
you not have the details?
No, I have the details. I'm doing a comedy show October 15th. Brandon is going to also be on this show. It's a great lineup, and it's in the West Side in Los Angeles. And there's going to be more details on my website, AllieMcCloskey.com, and on my Instagram. And then I'm going to be going to Utah. I'm doing a show at like some crazy like mansion. And everyone's getting like those
really?
immediate COVID tests. So
Wait,
like,
who's booking that?
do you know Craig Conant?
Oh, okay.
It's like him, but it's like a weird friend of his who hit him up to like.
Yeah,
do
we
it.
talked about maybe doing a backyard tour. the
Yeah.
two of us. I want to figure out how to do it. Like I want to figure out how to do it like safely,
For sure.
where like I want it to be like CDC compliant or
Totally.
whatever. Because I don't know. I mean, it's hard to. I think we could figure it out.
100%. Because I think
Yeah.
what we do is we either find someone who has like
Right.
a large backyard
Yeah.
and only do a certain
We need
amount
to like
of seats.
find like mansions.
Yeah. We could find it though.
We could find
For
it.
sure.
I think we can figure this out. But we also got to do it soon enough that it's like not
Before
too cold.
Christmas, yeah.
Yeah. Could
Okay.
be- yeah.
We'll figure it out. Me and
Yeah.
Brandon might be coming doing a West Coast backyard tour.
Yes, sir.
That would be super fun.
I think so.
And then yeah, I don't know. There's other stuff I'm doing that I'll post about after. Okay,
All right.
that's it. Thanks for
Bye-bye.
coming on.
Thank you.